Welcome back, you lovely people. Today is going to be a really important video, especially for anybody that's holding altcoins and want to create some really firm situational awareness on where we're at and what's about to happen next. We'll start with a little bit of Bitcoin news and then we'll get into that. So I want to play this video from the mayor of Miami.
I want to thank the City of Miami Commissioners for supporting my resolution, which directs the city manager, after analysis, to procure a vendor to be able to offer our employees to get a percentage of their salary in Bitcoin, allows our residents to pay for fees in Bitcoin, and also would allow the city manager to cooperate with Miami-Dade County to allow for taxes to be paid in Bitcoin. It also a request of the state legislature that the City of Miami supports efforts to make Bitcoin an acceptable currency for us to potentially invest in the future. It's a wonderful to be a very crypto-forward city in the City of Miami, and I want to thank my commission colleagues for allowing that to happen. I want to thank the City of Miami.
Wow. Well, as Pomp says in his tweet, wow. And Pomp, I understand, was helping the mayor of Miami understand Bitcoin and figure out a Bitcoin strategy. Absolutely unreal, as he says, and every person, every company, but every state, city, government and country, and now, if they haven't already decided, they are having to figure out if they're going to be pro Bitcoin and crypto or against Bitcoin and crypto. And we, of course, know what the right side of history is going to be. But these people have very critical decisions to make. You saw the Prime Minister of Nigeria struggling to understand what was happening in his country. They're of course devaluing the currency and people are turning to Bitcoin. And I'm sure across the United States there are going to be some states and regulators that try and come down hard against it, and the ones that are going to be on the right side of history, not just morally, but from a economical and success perspective, are going to be the ones that fully adopt innovation technology. And on that, this article, JP Morgan, their co-president, admits they'll have to be involved in Bitcoin. 4 years ago, Jamie Dimon was calling Bitcoin a fraud. Now they are bending the knee to Bitcoin, as everybody will do eventually. It just depends how much of a fight they want to put up. But I also like this part of the article. There are claims that India is going to ban cryptocurrency. I know people, I have some Indian friends and followers who've been struggling to set up accounts. And immediately after that news broke, Jack Dorsey of Twitter and Jay-Z announced a development trust worth 500 Bitcoin they're going to be donating to Africa and India. And they are looking to do that in a decentralized manner and bring on board members and make sure that that it's completely unbiased and tries to add as much value to the area as possible. You can see Bitcoin, if you want it, if you adopt it, it's able to bring back power to the people and fairness and equality of opportunity. And one for the history buffs, this is a chart in the black of the value of the German mark. This was around the Weimar Republic hyperinflation. And you can see that as they started printing their currency into oblivion, then one mark became worth, what is this, 1 trillion paper marks in next to no time, slowly and then quickly. And it's very interesting to see the Bitcoin chart since inception is very closely resembling this graph. Now, this is just for fun, but why is it interesting? It's interesting because now, just like the Weimar Republic back in 1918 to 1923, you now, since 2011 to 2021, have governments and central banks around the world who are printing their currencies into being completely worthless and steering us all into a hyperinflationary environment. And as I've said before, Bitcoin provides the perfect counterbalance. The more money they create, the higher Bitcoin goes. And that's why I still struggle to comprehend how there are people out there that don't understand Bitcoin or haven't taken the time to understand Bitcoin at a very basic level, because as soon as you do the research, then you realize what is going on. Bitcoin today is off slightly, well, fairly flat, just under $48,000, consolidating really nicely. I want to focus in on the whole market and altcoins. We are, as you may have seen if you hold altcoins, things are starting to move. You have the likes of Graph that's up hundreds of percent over the week. You have Polkadot up another 14% today, Ocean up another 10%. You have lots of smaller altcoins which are popping off 25%. You even have today Chainlink up 6% and climbing. And I believe that this Chainlink move is triggering or one of the key indicators that we are about to enter peak alt season. And what do I mean by peak alt season? Because altcoins have been exploding already. We are, of course, in an alt season. So what am I expecting next? I want to show you this graph, which is a bit messy, but I'm gonna just want you to focus. By the way, TradingView for some reason has lost all of my lines and drawings, which is a massive pain, but it's fine. We roll with it, roll with the punches. And for some reason, it has left my drawings on one chart, and that is handy because this is the most important chart right now. This is the Bitcoin dominance chart. So it's the total market cap of Bitcoin compared to the total market cap of all of the cryptocurrencies. As Bitcoin outperforms all of the other cryptos, then the graph goes up. As the altcoins start to outperform Bitcoin, the graph goes down. Bitcoin and the altcoins can be going up in value in USD terms, in dollar terms or pound terms. But if the altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin and this chart goes down, the dominance gets less. Right, so what do I want to show you? I want to show you where we're at right now. We began alt season in earnest this year, beginning of January. And the dominance of Bitcoin has been decreasing at quite a substantial rate as the altcoins really start moving. You've seen that. You've seen DOT, you've seen Link, you've seen Cardano. Everything's been flying. Bitcoin's also been performing well, but the altcoins have been flying. So the dominance has been dropping. So we dropped for, let's call it January, and then we've had about a week or two of sideways movement in the dominance. What that means is, well, what happened is Bitcoin was performing great and the altcoins were performing great. They kind of, you probably saw them dancing together. One would go up, then the other would go up. Even with this big green candle here is the Tesla announcement. And then we've come back as the altcoins start outperforming again. That's exactly what I expected to happen, okay? Because this is 2017. This section here was the beginning of alt season. At the beginning of March, we're a couple of months ahead in terms of calendar months on this cycle. We then had 2.5 weeks of sideways movement. We've just had 2 weeks of sideways movement this time. What happens next is a huge decrease in the Bitcoin dominance. and this takes place over a couple of weeks. So what am I expecting to happen this time? I've drawn a rough sketch on here. We're about to blast through this line. Don't worry about the line too much. And we're about to have a significant decrease in the Bitcoin dominance. What does that mean? That means altcoins hugely outperforming Bitcoin. Does that mean Bitcoin is going to go down? No. No. We have set our short-term targets. We expect Bitcoin's going up somewhere between 72,000 and 90,000 over the next month or two. So Bitcoin's going up, but altcoins are exploding. Okay. And I believe that we're seeing the start of that actually right now, today, with the likes of Polkadot at 14%, Link up 7%, whilst Bitcoin is down. Now it's only down slightly. I'm expecting what happens next over the next couple of weeks. Weekends are known for explosive moves. And of course, now I say this, the opposite will happen. But here's my base case scenario, is that for the next couple of weeks, the altcoin market gets delirious. The types of moves that you've seen in Graph over the past few days, I would expect to see across the board. And this is really important for those in altcoins to just have that awareness. There is no action to take. There's no action to take. As I said in my Instagram post the other day, you need to ride your winners. And there's going to be some huge winners over the next couple of weeks if my prediction plays out. And then what happens after a couple of weeks? Because we know things can't go up forever in a straight line. Well, I already have this circle drawn in here. This is a couple of weeks down the line. Let's call this the end of February. End of February, beginning of March. I'm expecting some sort of blow off top in the alt market. What does that mean? It means you'll see many coins having 30, 40, 50, 60% days. And at that point, there will be profit taking, and we have to have a correction. As soon as that euphoria appears, it can go on for a short while, and then we have to have a correction. And what happened last time, and this is our base case, is that we had from mid-May to mid-July, so it's 2 months of a correction. What's happening in this time with Bitcoin? I believe what's happening here is that Bitcoin is having some sort of 30% correction. That's probably when we get to $75,000 or so. So Bitcoin has a 30% correction. Now, the most important thing I want to make you aware of if you're holding out altcoins is that when this correction happened last time, it was actually 38% with Bitcoin. It was the biggest drop. And I'm expecting that to happen somewhere between $75,000 and $90,000. So I imagine Bitcoin needs to go up, let's call it 75% from here. So I'm expecting most of these altcoins to go up 100, 200, 300% over the next couple of weeks. I know it sounds like a lot, but things can escalate quickly. And then when Bitcoin has its 38% correction, many of these altcoins will correct a lot more than that. Let's call it 50, 60%, some of them more. You need to be really, really clear in your mind that that is a likely scenario, because otherwise it will be happening and you'll be panicking, okay? Now, luckily, most of your coins will have gone up many times over by that point, and then there'll be a very sharp correction. That's not the end, okay? This is just the appetizer to then what happens later in the year. But I want to make it really, really clear. I want to prepare you all mentally. I'm not advocating take profit strategy over the next couple of weeks, because I think you are opening yourself up to the risk of missing out on big gains. But if you do choose to take profit, then so be it. That's your decision. Just know that after you take profit, it's very easy for you to mistime that and for it to continue going up for another week and miss out on 100, 200% gains. All I'm trying to do here is give you the awareness so that and that perspective really, really helps for us all to navigate this next 6 to 7 months now, up to September, just to strap in, fasten your seatbelt and enjoy the ride. Let's see how things develop over the weekend and over the next few weeks. But I do believe the crypto market as a whole is about to get very, very euphoric. And hopefully with what I'm showing you here, you can really, really have a much greater perspective on what's happening and not get shaken around and make any bad decisions. I will update you all over the weekend, which I'm sure now is going to be super quiet and boring after I said all that. Take care.